What is up, guys? Flossy Missiles here. In today's video, I'm really excited because we're installing all these parts. All right, so we got is some 17 by 10 RPF1 Ankies. They're covered in plasti dip. I got them used, so that's why they look like that. Oh, don't worry, I'll pressure wash all the plasti dip off. But then we got ISR coilovers, so I'll get rid of the rear bucket arm, whatever it's called. I got solid bushings for the subframe, solid diff bushings, some new lugs, some 2-inch wheel spacers, some fatties to go along with the wide body. I got a lockout washer kit, got 2 of those, and I got all the rear arms to make this thing all ISR. So let's get into it. I'm also going to go ahead and weld the differential while I'm down there. Well, I guess not down there because I'm pulling the whole diff out. But while the diff is out, I'm going to be welding the diff, and it's super exciting. I can't wait.
Next level.
So the rear subframe is now out of the car. It was quite the little mission. Probably took a good, I don't know, hour and a half between doing the shocks and that bracing and the whole brake assembly, the e-brake thing. But nothing too bad. All of it's really straightforward. I didn't film all of it just because it is really straightforward. It's just nut and bolt type of stuff. But let's go ahead and rip this thing apart now and start throwing on some new parts. Actually, before that, let's go ahead and take this diff off and weld it and get it all prepped and ready. In the meantime, I heated these up and I just hit it with the Sawzall real quick. Let's see if it comes out. I think it will. Oh yeah. Yep. This one's still burning a little bit right now, but I'm gonna try smacking it. Maybe hit it with the Sawzall for a second. But yeah, so far what I've found out is heating it up, because you don't have to do it that long. Just get the rubber hot, and then you hit it with the Sawzall, it goes through it pretty easy. So that's my little tactic. So these aren't actually all that bad. After you burn out the center and you get a Sawzall in there and you get a little slit in it, hit it with a hammer, it actually come out not too bad. This one I beat up a little more just because I took a while to actually make that cut in it. But as soon as I did that on this one, it just popped right out. Went ahead and cleaned this thing up. It came out alright, a lot better than it was. At least I'm not touching something dirty when I'm putting it back in. And I also made a quick trip to San Diego and picked up this guy. So that's my differential that came out of it, which is a limited slip. And this is an open one, so it'll be good for welding. Quick way you can tell is, watch when I spin this side. The other side goes the opposite way. On this limited slip, when I spin it, it goes the same way. So yeah, I'm gonna weld that thing up in a minute. But it was a mission to get that thing. San Diego's 2 hours away from me. I went there and just came straight back, so 4 hours driving. diff's not in too bad a shape. Here's the metal that came off of the magnetic drain plug. But yeah, not too bad. With the cover off, there you can see all the spider gears I'm gonna weld. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make a plate and plate this thing so it'll be super strong. But yeah, I gotta clean all this oil out of it. Make sure it's nice and clean. It's my weld stick. And here's what one of the plates looks like that I went ahead and cut out. I think this is 11 gauge. Let's go ahead and test fit this plate. And there you go. As you can see, it fits perfectly in there, nice and tight. So like I said, I'm going to weld the spider gears together, maybe weld it to the plate a little bit. And I'll probably even do on this casing a little bit of welds. I want to try to do it even on both sides so it's not unbalanced and it doesn't prematurely wear out all the bearings inside this thing. But it is a pretty hokey welded diff, so who knows. With some non-chlorinated brake cleaner, I went ahead and cleaned out the differential as best as I could. It's not spotless, but the areas I'm going to weld are pretty stinking clean. There's the plate. There's my welder. It's a Lincoln 140. I'm running 035 wire through it. I'm going to go ahead and weld these spider gears and weld this plate. Alright, as you can see, the plate is welded in, all the gears are welded together. I'm going to knock out these axle stubs because I got some seals to replace the old ones and hopefully no leakage. So I just cleaned both the surfaces that are going back together with a Scotch-Brite pad, and there's little crevices in here. They're really hard to get the RTV out of, but both of them are spick and span. Put some black RTV on it and let it sit for an hour, and then come back and retorque the bolts. There's the differential, there's the subframe. Got some paint on both of those, just a light coat, a little quick coat. And I'm over here at Eric's and we are pressing these bushings in thanks to his press. Thanks for your tools, Eric. And it's going pretty smooth. Got some ISR bushings, some burrs on these, but it's all right. This was like a 12-ton press, does the job.
Crap box Harbor Freight.
Crap box Harbor Freight. What he said. But yeah, it's working. So we're gonna press the rest of these solid bushings in and rattle our teeth out the whole time driving this thing. Back home now, all the diff bushings are pressed in, as well as my differential, which is over there. Those bushings are pressed in, and I measured out all the stock control arms and the camber arms and all that stuff. All this guy is right here. And I went ahead and adjusted those, you know, somewhat to the same length. Obviously, I'll have to get an alignment done just to get it, you know, where it's supposed to be, because it's just a rough estimate so I could get to the alignment shop. But yeah, it's ready to go back into the car. I was gonna build the whole subframe out on the floor with differential and all the axles and all that junk and then put it in there, but I think I'm gonna just put the subframe in and then bolt on piece by piece, just because on one person it's kind of heavy and it's a lot to deal with just balancing on one jack. But yeah, it's gonna go right up under there and we'll get this thing installed. So as you can see, I got the subframe installed and the sway bar as well, just kind of random. But I'm gonna go ahead and install the arms real quick. All the arms installed, so we got all these guys, one up there, those ones, and yeah, she's looking pretty fresh, minus these nasty old brakes, but can't do much about that. New coilover up in there. I'm gonna go ahead and lower it down onto some wheels. I still don't have the differential because I'm waiting for 2 seals in the mail. It was supposed to come today, not here, so I'm super bummed. But I'm gonna go ahead and lower it down on some wheels just so I know how low it is. I know it's gonna be super low, but I don't know, just get a quick look at it. That thing is, holy guacamole. So my diff seals never came in, so I ended up just throwing the stock LSD back in it and axles and all that jazz. So it's all together now in the rear. I'm gonna go ahead and move to the front. So I got coilovers I'm gonna put on, some wheels I'm gonna throw on, and eventually I'm gonna try to fit these fiberglass flares. And here's the final look. The suspension's still a little bit high, but it needs time to settle and break in. So once it breaks in after 1,000 miles or so, I'll go ahead and probably lower it a little bit more. Here's with a bigger tire on this side. And eventually I'm gonna put the front flares on and do a bunch more things, but that's when I'm gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more car content. Thank you so much for watching.